Hello and welcome. We are Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name is Amy, aka Warp Fiend, and I'm joined by.
Hello, I'm Tammy, don't you know? And I'm also known as the Autumn Witch.
That's right, and today we are bringing you the next part in our Faction Spotlight series, in which we are taking a look at the Astra Militarum. As usual, we're going to go through a quick summary of the lore and some info about them, and then we're going to dive into the model range review.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's hop into it.
I can't hop, my back hurts. Can we just sort of lurch awkwardly towards it? That would be so much better.
Yeah, that would be recommended by the Guard as well. So, while the Adeptus Astartes form humanity's elite warriors, there is not near enough of them to provide the bulk of everyday military capability in a vast galaxy. Instead, this falls to the Astra Militarum, the gigantic organisation that forms the backbone of the Imperium's forces. Composed of baseline human warriors in vast numbers, lightly armed and armoured, the Militarum is a meat grinder designed to wear down the enemy through superior numbers. Recruits are taken from all Imperial worlds and herded into combat by ruthless commissars that are fast to shoot cowards and deserters. Most famous, the Guard regiments are the Cadians, drawn from the former fortress world destroyed by Abaddon. However, there are many regiments from a variety of homeworlds, all with their own styles of waging war. That's the Guard, the cannon fodder cadets.
Meat for the meat shield.
Yeah, so obviously they're a horde-based army with lots of baseline human troops armed with trusty lasguns. They can be run as armoured platoons with a huge selection of tanks and vehicles. Cadians are the template for most of the Guard. Valhallans specialise in winter warfare. Catachan jungle fighters in guerrilla warfare, while the Death Corps of Krieg wage devastating wars of attrition.
Yes, and this is my current army as well.
Yep.
I've been spending a lot of time looking at all the models, so I'm
I'm sure you know the range better than I do at the minute.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's take a look at the range. So here's the range. As we can see, it's quite a big one. There's 107 items in. There's a lot of stuff for the Guard. Now, a lot of it is variations on a few basic kits. You'll see a lot of the same.
At least half of these are basically variations on the Baneblade kit.
Yes, there's a lot of Baneblade ones. There's a lot of Leman Russ ones and the Chimera. You'll see they form the basis for a lot of the stuff in here. So the Guard is one of those factions that's, it's a mix of old and new stuff. There has been some releases recently, and yes, some stuff is very old. A lot of the stuff in here is actually Forge World, and I don't know if that's even like game legal at the minute.
Well, I think
it's in Legends.
I think a lot of it is provided that there is a 40k equivalent. So you got a Death Corps Krieg mortar team you see there, which any infantry or any battalion can take. Like you got the heavy stubber, you got like the heavy bolter. Yeah, I mean things like the cavalry are a bit more niche, but
yeah,
I'd love
to
get
see to those soon. Yeah. Before we do though, let's have a start as we usually do by looking at some of the characters. This is a command squad here, so this is technically characters, and this is the brand new one. Fairly much came out at the end of last edition.
Yep, just in time for its codex to become redundant.
Yes. I see it's like some really nice imaginings of Cadian command squad.
Yeah.
It's definitely an upgrade over the previous one, which I think had like a good 20 odd years of service.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I think should be said, most people will know this anyway, but despite all the battalions in the lore with all their different designs and such, pretty much everything that isn't a one of the remaining Catachan kits or the new Death Korps Krieg infantry set is going to be based on the Cadians. So
Yes.
if you're looking at Valhallans, which is my army, or Talon or the Mordians or whatever, with their strikingly different look from like 2nd, 3rd edition, everything now is everything that GW produce is basically Cadian centric.
Yes, I mean,
I mean,
there is other stuff. You can get the Catachan Command Squad there, and that's a bit of an older kit.
There's like 3 or 4 infantry kits for Catachan, but
yes, there's the Tempestus Siams Command Squad.
Yeah,
and I believe there's a Krieg one that's a resin kit.
Yes, and it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my next big video is going to be about how I'm making a Valhallans army. So I'm kind of going a bit. I'm not focusing on like GW infantry. I'm sort of bringing in older stuff and that. But the tanks, the new stuff, I'm going all new with the tanks. So
very nice, very nice. So other than the basic command squads, you then have the individual characters. You have the Castellan here, which is, I think this is like kind of the general option.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with the ranks myself, apart from like the Commissar and that.
Yeah, the Castellans, if we're going by sort of like Space Marine equivalents, because that tends to be how things are described.
Right.
He's more of a Space Marine captain, whereas the leader in the platoon, in the command squad, is the equivalent of a lieutenant. So
right.
Yeah. I mean, I could be completely wrong there, and someone will just leave a nasty comment.
Yeah, he does look a bit fancier. I'll say that.
And
I know, obviously, Castellan Creed is the like Grand Commander of the Cadian forces, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and also he's in a trench coat, so he might go nicely with my Valhallans. You never know.
Yeah, and then you have the Commissars, which the next, the kind of ground level command, I think.
Well, they're more like political officers. They're there. I'd say they're more like the chaplains in Space Marine armies.
I mean, kind of. If the chaplains had to walk behind the Space Marines and threaten to shoot them if they deserted.
Yeah. See, this model looks really good from the eyes down, but what I really miss on this model is the outrageously oversized Commissar hat that all previous Commissars had.
It is very much too small for a Warhammer hat, I'd say.
Yeah, and especially a Commissar one, because they tend to be huge and fantastic. He kind of just he needs a big hat.
So I think there's another Commissar available. I think it might be a resin one, though.
No, that one, the Officio Prefectus Commissar is a plastic one.
That's a plastic kit,
It's a plastic kit, and he's got a fantastic huge hat. Which...
Yep, you can see there, like, at least twice the size of his head.
Yeah, I mean, is it even really a Commissar if they don't have a massive hat?
Yes. See, we've got Lord Castellan Ursula Creed, who is obviously the daughter of the other Lord Creed, who's currently in the collection of Traz in the Infinite. And she's such a lovely model, very much Trunchbull. I think that was the kind of inspiration there.
Yeah, definitely. Also gives me someone to cosplay as if I ever go to a convention.
Yes. Okay, so you also have other ones like the Primaris Psyker. Now, I know this model from playing Tacticus. It is a plastic one, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know when this came out, but it's a nice model.
It's a relatively recent one. You can kind of tell by the
by
the dynamism in the pose.
Early 2010s, maybe.
Oh no, it's more recent than that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if it came out in the last wave or it was like like in the previous edition, and it was like the models that came with the new codex type thing. But it's a very
Interesting.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, had a look. There's another command squads there, the
Yeah.
Tempestus Scions one, and then
Yeah.
there's stuff like the current Warhammer Plus exclusive model,
Yeah.
which is a nice kind of Kassakin style Cadian commando.
Yeah.
There's also Sly Marbo.
Yeah. You know, even though the Catachans haven't had their infantry renewed for like 20 years, they have had some really cool special characters
Oh yes,
in that time.
absolutely.
It's
Sly
almost
Marbo's the named one. Obviously, there's others that have been released.
there's others that are also named characters. They
Yeah,
they
named like I mean, as in like he's a significant figure in the lore, rather than they just
yeah.
gave it a name to kind of trademark.
Yeah, but then there's others. I mean, I'm sure we'll come on like Sergeant Harker, and there's the one based on Vasquez from Aliens, and
Yeah.
they're all named characters brought in from the lore. I think that Catachan is like the faction that has got more epic hero characters than it has actual non-epic hero models.
Absolutely, I could definitely see that. The kit itself the troop kit we'll get to in a second,
Yeah.
because yeah, although there are loads more characters, I think that's a good selection to leave it at. Otherwise, we will be here all day.
Yep.
So let's have a look at the troops, and we'll start with the Cadians, because
Mm-hmm.
this is a classic kit that was recently given an upgrade sprue to just really expand your options.
No.
Ah,
This is an all new plastic kit. The upgrade sprue came out like a year or so earlier for the old
right.
kit, and that upgrade sprue is still available. But
Okay.
this is an all new kit.
Oh yes, you are right. You're
Yeah.
right. I must retract my statement. So is the old kit still available to use the upgrades with?
No, but the upgrades are still compatible with current kits. So
Right, okay,
yeah,
because yes, here's the upgrade sprue here.
yeah,
And you can see this one's got loads of stuff that's going to just add like a load more character to those sculpts.
yeah. You get a tank commander in there. You get like a proper like full medic model, or he could just be a dude like taking a knee to shoot with a sniper rifle or something. You got different heads. You got different gender options for heads, which is also really good.
Yes.
It
Something
was
that's badly needed.
Yeah, so the this sprue got bundled in with the old Cadian kit as like a stopgap until they brought out the new one. So this is still available. It's compatible with any of the Cadian infantry models, like we got the shock troops. You've got the command squad. You've got the heavy weapons teams. I think the heavy weapons teams are still the old ones, but yeah. So it's still a kit that is compatible with the new range.
Okay. So Cadians basically form the backbone of a guard army. They're the generic one, and
They're the Ultramarines of the Imperial Guard.
Yes, and they're definitely a good source of like a base for most other troops. However, like the other regiments are kind of in here. Now we have the Kassakin, obviously, which are just
the elites.
Elite Cadians.
Yeah.
And this was a similarly new kit that came out the same time as the upgrade sprue.
Well, it's actually a kill team.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, so it came out for kill team, and then I think this, yeah, it is about the same time as the other Cadian sprue came out. But yeah, this came out as a kill team first, and then it got folded into 40k, so it can be used as both.
Yes. That's like a slightly fancier version of the troops. Now,
yeah.
Another kind of elite choice is the Tempesta Scions, which
Yeah,
are just basically a really well-armed and armored guard regiment. They're
yeah,
like the elite troopers.
yeah. They're more like a detached to regular battalions. Then I mean, you can run an army of them by
Yes.
yourself, but I don't think they count as battle line.
Mhm.
So they're
And they
more,
used to be in their own army list, separate to the guard when they were first introduced.
yeah. So I mean, you can run a complete Militarum Tempesta Scions army, uh,
Mhm.
but it's more elite based. They don't actually have any battle line troops.
Yes.
It's the same kit actually as the command squad, the Tempestus command squad, and it's just different build options. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
there's only one kit, but it's got a lot of different options for how you build it.
Yeah, it's a very good kit. I have built some converted ones of those and painted for a friend. Yeah, they're very cool models. Um, Jumping on, I'm going to actually move to this tab and show.
Yeah,
This is what the old Catachans looked like. And when I say old, I mean still, this is the main source of Catachans. And
yeah.
it's obvious they need an upgrade soon.
I think this is one of the oldest plastic kits that they've got because
Yeah.
this I mean, my mind may be cheating me a bit, but I'm thinking like 98, 99 this came out. So we're
It's
looking at
definitely getting up there in years.
yeah, we're looking at like a 20, 25-year-old kit made
Hmm.
to 20, 25-year-old standards.
And
I
just the
mean,
paint jobs on these are not doing
yeah,
them any favors. This guy at the front, like with the dark lines in between every
yeah,
muscle, it's obvious they need to kind of refresh these because I think
yeah.
Catechans are one of a lot of people's favorite guard regiment, and
They are one
of
of the
course they are like the
coolest.
action movie guard regiment,
Yeah.
very
Um,
Predator.
Now I've to be fair to the sculpts, I've mashed a squad of these in with a load of chaos cultists
Yes.
and painted them up, and they do look really good. I think the paint job they have here
Yeah,
is
it's definitely one of the
is
worst offenders in the heavy metal Hall of Shame.
mm, yeah, because
Hmm.
I mean the individual parts on these models look good. It's just if you paint them like it's some sort of weird 1980s like GI Joe comic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they're cheap at least, and you could
For
probably
now,
paint them a good deal better than this.
yeah, if they were to get a refresh, we would then be looking at about 35 quid for the 10. So I mean they paint up better than this image
Yeah.
suggests.
So the newest introduced one is these veteran guardsmen. Now these are obviously Deathcore of Krieg. They're
But
called
are they?
veteran guardsmen.
Are they obviously? Because I put this kit together recently and I'm going to be painting it up in my next video, and they are going to be Valhallans.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they do have trench coats and that, which I
Yep,
suppose is fairly easy to convert into a great coat.
yep. Well, I think they'll fit. I mean, I've been doing a lot of experimenting with like third party and 3D printing and stuff to try and get a like Valhallans looking good and sitting in with like normal 40k. But I think that when I paint these up, these are going to look really good, and it may be that I buy a lot more of this kit. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you also get a lot of extras like extra las guns and pouches and such. Um,
Hmm.
in the in the kit. So I mean, I'm being like sneaky and I've been buying up some bolt action Soviets, but with all the extras in this
Hmm.
kit, they can be adapted as well. So yeah, this is a really good kit. It doesn't have to be Deathcore or Krieg. They would also work as Armageddon Steel Legion.
Yeah, yeah. I
I mean,
mean, these are the replacement technically for the Deathcore Krieg in Forge World Resin,
yeah,
and it seems very much likely that they're going to expand this later, being how Krieg are one of the most popular guard regiments that
Yeah,
that isn't like Cadians or Catechans.
yeah,
So if we go back to have a look at some of the other options again, obviously you are kind of limited on the Krieg stuff by the price. Like an infantry squad from Forge World is £54,
yep.
and it doesn't look as good as the plastic one. So
No.
yeah, and even more so those cavalry, which I think we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying £20
Her horsey dude.
per horsey dude. Yes. And then £20 again for just your mole launchers and that. You can
Yeah.
see it's fairly much the same. They've got the command squad, all the different weapons teams and stuff, but all of them are Forge World resin at a hefty markup. So
Yeah.
if you really love Deathcore Krieg and you can't wait until they release plastic ones,
3D print them.
yeah, that's an option.
I mean, come on, when you're looking at like, you know, a couple of £100 just for like a basic like 500 points worth of
Well, if you've
guard,
got any kidneys to sell on the black market, you could maybe go for a Forge World army.
or you can buy a 3D printer, and
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not advocating it. I'm just saying that there is that option should people be so piratey and
Yeah. And then, okay, we'll have a look at some of the other options anyway. Obviously, there's abhumans. They're a big part of the
Fulgrins. I love
Imperial
this
Guard.
kit.
Sanctioned abhumans, not those ones that are considered mutants or heretics.
Yep.
And yeah, this kit is the Ogryn kit. It's really nice. You can get Ogryns, you can get Bulgrins, and there's
Yeah.
even an Ogryn special character, Nork Deadog.
Yeah, I mean, this kit builds all three options, which is good. Also, I've got a load of old fantasy ogres kicking about, and I'm wondering if I grab this kit, will that armor fit on the old fantasy fantasy ogres?
It
And
very well
then
may do.
and then I could get a unit of Bulgrins and a unit of Ogrins out of this kit. So yeah, I'm considering that as an addition.
Yep. At the other end of the size scale, you have the Ratlings, Hobbits.
Yep.
Hobbits snipers. Now, I can't remember if we ever actually saw this, but there was some rumor engine that looked very much like a Ratling's like hamper full of snacks lately, or something like that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it could be that Ratlings are a kill team.
Could very well be, yes. Obviously, there was a team of Ratling snipers in Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah.
And I think those two were the only ones that had been made since this.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be cool. I mean, kill team is always a good place to try out some new units and factions.
Yeah, yeah. Now, these ones, it says they're metal still, so...
They are, yeah.
It's going back a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are like early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're good sculpts, but
yeah.
I don't think they're the urgent army, like, unit that every army will need at the minute. So unless it's really your thing, then...
Yeah, I mean, I've been tempted to pick up this set actually just because I love the old
yes.
But yeah, if these are going to come back into like, you know, if the kit's going to get an update, it will be as a kill team, I think, which can then be used in 40k. Pure speculation, but you know, goes with the rumor engine thing.
Yeah. One of the more recent ones again, the Attilan
I'm buying these. I'm getting these.
Very beautiful. This was obviously an iconic army, like unit in the classic Imperial Guard army.
Yeah.
That was missing for a long time until it was recently reintroduced into the range.
Yeah, they've got very much that Cossack vibe.
Yes, yeah.
which I feel is going to go very nicely with the Soviet vibe of the Valhallans.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also part of me thinking, if I get these, I could swap the heads out for some of the spare Deathcore ones that I've got
Yeah.
kicking about, and I could use the heads from these on my on some White Scars Scouts.
Mm-hmm. They're very beautiful models. I love like the details. Like, well, they've always had kind of like really this grenade lance thing,
Yeah.
whatever they called them. It just says hunting lances there, but I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
special name for them. There's a special name for everything.
Yeah, I mean, you get different options. You get like a shocker lance thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you get different build options in the kit.
Yep. So those are all the kind of well, troops slash human squads. Now,
Wait, go
one of
down.
oh,
Back to where? Because we just saw Captain Harker, and I just want to point out. See there, we got Sergeant Harker, we've got Colonel Iron Hand Strachan, we've got Sly Marbo, and then there is the Vasquez-based one, who is also a named character.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that is. There's a lot of stuff to scroll through. But anyway, that was what you wanted to point out. Now, we have a huge array of vehicles here, and it's going to be tough to completely go through all of them. So, first of all, you have the newest one, the Rogel Dawn battle tank.
Yes, I have the Rogel Dawn battle tank.
Yeah.
And it is a brute. It looks big there, but it doesn't look as big as it really is. There.
Right, they are pretty huge.
They are. I'd say they're about the size of a Land Raider.
Yeah.
It is hefty, and I'll tell you something, it's really easy to magnetize. So all of the options, I've got all the different options on it for like any gun on it, I can swap out for like the alternative versions. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like, it's just kind of all the design elements of guard tanks kind of put into something new and modern that hadn't really been done for a while. And I think they've knocked it out of the park, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. It just highlights how dated the Leman Russ is.
Yeah, so we'll get onto that next. The Leman Russ is just kind of the classic chassis variant.
Yeah. Now the kit has had a refresh at some point, but it's the same sculpt that came out in like 1995.
Yes, so, I had them when they first came out.
Yeah. Now the
Sponsons, very cool back then.
The Sponson weapons and like the pilots and the tank commanders and stuff, they were all metal, but the basic hull is exactly the same sculpt.
Right.
I mean they've upgraded the sprue. They've created like plastic versions of the weapons and of the tank commander and stuff, but it is still the same model.
Oh yeah, that looks very familiar.
Yeah, it is still the same model as what came out in, like, I believe it was 95, maybe 96, but I think
and now this is a very small tank as well. It's kind of your light to medium battle tank. And it's just all about that battle cannon and your sponsons and just firing, basically.
Yeah. Now you can take a tank commander as a leader unit, and you can even have them as your warlord in the army list. So that gives you basically a really buffed up Leman Russ to act as a leader. So yeah, it is really cool as like a character transport. You know, it's just one dude. You've got your leader in there with loads of big guns. They can do lots of extra stuff because it's a tank commander.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a definite take for a lot of guard players even now.
Yeah, and you have loads of variants of this one, like kind
Yeah,
of is the Deathcore Krieg, Alpha Pattern. Um, there's a few more things based on this chassis, but
yeah.
uh, there's so much stuff on here. The Valdor Tank Hunter, I believe that's based on a similar, at least part of the same kit, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely some design nods to it.
I'm not sure which others are actually. Yeah, I thought there was more, but maybe they've discontinued some of them now.
Yeah, I mean the Forge World ones have kind of sort of
Yeah.
been, I think, been retired. Although you can still take them under Legends rules, but the actual
Mhm.
Leman Russ kit does come with all the build options for the different variations,
Right, right.
like the Vanquisher and the Demolisher and the
Yes.
Obliterator, so yeah, you've got a
Okay.
lot of build options. Apparently the turret can be a bit of a bugger to magnetize, but the
hmm
Sponson weapons, easy.
Okay, so moving up a scale, the next biggest tank is the Chimera.
Yeah, well, the Chimera is technically an APC. It's like the Rhino,
Yes, yes.
but
This is the
it's
troop carrier.
yeah, but like the Rhino, its chassis is also used for battle tanks, so it's a very flexible kit. And this also came out
hmm
in like 1995.
Yeah, it was the same time. I remember they both came
Yeah,
out together.
I mean, it was when they brought out the full like metal infantry range with all the
hmm
different regiments, like your Valhallans and your Cadians and your because before that, Imperial Guard were sort of like halfway between like the colonial Space Marines from Aliens, with a touch
Yes.
with a touch of Starship Troopers folded in, and
hmm
every single regiment just wore the same thing, which I'd say was like a sort of proto-Cadian design. So this was the
Yeah.
time when Guard really, really got its character.
hmm And yeah, I think a lot of the kind of characterful ones were probably designed by like people like the Perry twins who had
Yeah,
very like massive historical influences who just wanted to
yeah,
bring in a bunch of different kind of troop types.
yeah,
Um, so if we look, this one actually has more variants available. You've got like the Manticore with these heavy
yeah.
missiles here. Um, Moving down, you've got the Wyvern is also
Oh
based on the
yes,
same
and
one.
I tell you what, I
Massive
can't.
four cannons.
I know I've got it on order, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on that.
Yep, you have stuff like the Hydra and the Death
Which
Strike.
the
All some of the
Hydra,
coolest artillery I think that Games Workshop
yeah,
does.
I mean the Hydra and the Wyvern are, as long as the Death Strike and the Manticore thing, they are like, it's like two build options per kit.
Right.
So with the Hydra and the Wyvern, it's essentially you can swap out the guns and you've got the option of two different units, and the same with the
hmm
Manticore and the yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
you do
you
get
also have the Hellhound, which I believe is like the Flamer version.
yeah. It's it's not a APC at all. It's just a tank that rocks up and torches things,
Ah, right.
which is cool. The
And the
Basilisk,
Basilisk, which was my favorite when it first came out. Now,
yeah.
I believe this is a different gun from the original one.
I think it. I mean, it might be that they upgraded the kit, but
There definitely wasn't a platform on the back of the old one, like with the railings like that.
yeah, I mean the kits have got a spruce up over the years, but they are still like
Yes.
the same thing. And I quite like that because the guard shouldn't really be moving around in like top of the line, super
hmm
brand new technology. They've got the old stuff, the old clunky stuff that yeah, they have to hit it,
Yeah,
where they
yeah,
have to
very
hit it with a
much.
hammer to make it work most of the time.
hmm And you can see there's some others that I think these are all built on. Um, these are all like completely Forge World. I think these
Yeah,
ones.
I mean
Um,
the Stormhammer on the right is
but we'll
basically a
get to
Baneblade with
soon. We'll get
extras.
to Baneblade
Yeah,
soon.
yeah, but
Um,
yeah, but the others there are like all Forge World. stuff.
Yeah, so we have the Taurox Prime, which is the Taurox Prime, which is basically the one that came out for the not Solar Auxilia,
The Tempesta
Tempesta
Scions.
Scions.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that hasn't really had any upgrades. It's a solid kit. It's a fairly
yeah.
new kit.
It's got 2 build options, like the generic Taurox is like cheaper on points.
Yeah, and then
But
this
the
one's got a
Taurox
cannon on the
Prime,
roof.
it's got a cannon on the roof. It's
Mhm.
got some heavier armor on it. Which yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to grab one because I'm going to be running my Valhallans with an Inquisitor. So you can fit 12 infantry in there, so it would be the Inquisitor and their retinue, and they can have their own fancy truck.
Okay, well, moving on. The Baneblade is obviously the biggest tank chassis that they do, and I see this is £105 now. That has gone up quite a lot since I last looked at one of them.
Yeah, I mean, last time when I decided I want to pick up a super heavy, and it was between the Baneblade and the Stomper. It was about 5 or 6 years ago, and they were both about 75 quid. So yeah, it's gone up quite a lot. Although, not to reiterate my love for Element Games,
Mm-hmm.
and
Now,
it's about 85 quid from there. So
yeah,
and
there's a
also
lot of sprues here. A lot of sprues.
Yeah. Also, though, if you do want to actually get one of these because they're having some like stock issues, it's been out of stock for a long time. Yeah. Look at some of the third-party sites because they tend to have a few.
So the Baneblade has loads of variants. I think that they're all in the box at the minute, fairly much, apart from some of the Forge World ones.
Yeah.
Stuff like the Hellhammer and obviously the Solar Auxilia Storm Hammers for a Forge World one with more stuff. There's I've seen a few of them. You don't need me to scroll up and down to tell you that there's a bunch of different variants of this.
And I tell you what, it takes
Shadow Sword as well.
It takes a certain degree of masochism to even think about how you would magnetize that to get all the options.
Yes.
But there are folks that have done it. Jay from Means of Battle has done it, and he did a cracking job on it. But my brain would melt.
Yes, very much so. Okay, there's 2 more things I want to cover, and now we're just going to save a bit of time because this is getting on. We're just going to look over the flyers quickly, and obviously you have the Valkyrie and some of the Forge World ones here, and they're all, very good sci-fi, kind of clunky, very brutal looking flyers. And there's some good stuff. I think the Valkyrie is like the star of the show that a lot of people.
Yeah, I do love the Valkyrie. It's either that or a Taurox. It's either that or a Taurox for my Inquisitor and her retinue. I say her retinue because it's going to be Greyfax.
Yes,
she's awesome.
Well, yeah, there's options with flyers, and the Forge World ones are more expensive, but there's some amazing designs. So
they're more expensive.
I don't know anyone who's actually bought these though. So
they're more expensive, but you can't play them in official games.
The Valkyrie, obviously, so that's a really useful unit for the Guard.
Yeah, but if you're playing a tournament, the Valkyrie's like the only flyer you can take. But then, it's not just because something's Legends. If you like it, buy it and play it.
Oh, very much so.
Because, most people don't play tournaments. Hey, Sentinel, I've got a Sentinel. I did a video on it. Go check it out. But the Legends stuff, you just get so much more variety in the game by playing with that. And if you're playing against someone that gets really shirty about, you can't play that, it's Legends, then they're not really going to be a fun person to play with anyway.
Yeah. Well, let's quickly talk about the Armored Sentinel and wrap it up here, because it's been a long video and there's so much more we could cover, but
there is. But I mean, this Sentinel, my Valhallan army, I mean, it's been something at the back of my mind for like a few years. Like, I want to do a Valhallan army. But towards the end of last year, I just thought, you know what? I just want to paint something I haven't painted. I don't want to paint something that's Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines or Orcs. So I just, grabbed one of these and painted it and decided,
Well, what do you reckon to the new kit then?
The new kit is fantastic. Now, if you're going to be running more than one of these, you're going to want to do a little bit of surgery on the legs because they're kind of a fixed pose, but because the parts are like pegged.
Yes, they're quite often like that, where if you just cut off the pegs, you can reposition them easily.
Exactly. So, provided you go into it, if you want to build like a squad of these, then all you need to do is really just know where you can modify it to like change the leg pose a bit. But the weapons on it are push fit and they're friction fit, so you can swap them about even if you don't want to be messing about with magnets. So the top as well. In the old kit, you kind of had to choose between whether it was like lid on or lid off because of the roll cage. But with this, you can build it as the armored sentinel, and the top just comes off to make it a scout sentinel.
That is a lovely touch.
Yeah. I replaced the very Cadian looking guy in mine with a Valhallan gunner to like fit with the theme. But yeah, the weapons are friction fit. It's easy to put together. It's a chunky boy. It's a very chunky boy.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to do weathering on it because it's got those big, like curved armor panels, and you can just go at it with the sponge. Give it some serious welly.
Yep.
Well, go watch my video on it.
Yes, go watch Tammy's video. Well, I think we can sum up by saying that the Guard is a land of contrasts.
Yep.
There's stuff that's incredibly new and cool. There's old and cool stuff. There's old and bad stuff, and there's just expensive and overpriced Forge World resin.
Yeah, and then there's also bolt action, which sells which sells plastic versions of a lot of different historical troops.
There are many indie companies that sell historically themed miniatures, so I'm sure you could find some kind of proxies somewhere easily.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, by the time, I might get that Regimental Advisors kit because I think they look pretty cool. But yeah, it's if you don't want to be playing Cadians or Krieg, have a look at like third-party places for infantry. But because the tanks are all, universal across the Guard pretty much, and they all come with like the appropriate transfers for the most popular regiments, then yeah, even if you don't want to do Cadians, you can do an Imperial Guard army and do it well.
Yep. Well, we'll leave you on this. Thanks very much for watching. We hope you are excited about the Guard and where they go in 10th edition. There's bound to be some more kits for them coming out soon. It seems like they've started a range refresh, but just need to finish it.
I mean, range refreshes tend to come in like 2 halves.
Yep.
It was like that with the Sisters of Battle. You got like the revamped older units, and then a few months later you got the new actual units. And it tends to happen a lot for like whole armies. So hopefully we're going to get that with the Astra Militarum.
Okay, well, we've been Bleeding Tree Gaming. We hope you very much enjoyed listening to this podcast episode.
Yeah.
We have more content for you coming out really soon, so stay tuned for that.
We do, definitely.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. We really appreciate it. Links to all our social medias down below, and also come join us on Facebook. Have a chat.
Excellent. We will catch you later.
All right then. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.